Hello, and to continue in our real estate education, Real Estate Riches by Professor Dolph DeRoos. Hi, I'm Ria. In the last video, I talked about internal rate of return. So for yield, it's very easy to calculate or to find out the yield using a scratch paper. For cash on cash return, you can do it using a calculator. For internal rate of return or IRR, we actually need a software. And in the link below, I'll share with you the free app for the internal rate of return calculator. So internal rate of return needs more software because it looks at several different things. Now it looks at the purchase price, the renovation costs, the true market value, the closing cost, the rental income, the vacancy, the expected capital growth, the expected inflation of rents and expenses. The internal rate of return also looks at your mortgage interest rate, your mortgage structure, whether it's principal and interest payments or it's interest-only payment. It looks at property taxes. It also looks at property management fees. It looks at maintenance, repairs, mortgage application fees, income level, and prevailing tax rates. So therefore, it's not easy to find the internal rate of return by just using a calculator. We would need some help using free apps out there. Now, the other thing that the book discusses is the top 3 criteria for finding the property. And the book mentioned it's location, location, location. Now, what is a good location? The author mentioned that it is very subjective for each investor. Now, in residential, he mentioned that it should be near schools, but it should not back out onto the school, or it's near shops, but you don't want a neighbor that is a shop. And it also should have an access to freeway or arterial routes. So as you can see, it is very subjective for each one of us. The book also recommends that we keep looking at properties. The 100:10:3:1. So we should look at 100 properties, evaluate them, even online, right? We don't have to be physically looking at the property. We can evaluate properties using online methods, and hopefully we could buy one property. The more we look at, the easier for us to develop a gut feel whether that property is a good one or not. Now, determining the internal rate of return or the IRR gives us an insight of whether that property is great or not. For example, without IRR, or if with IRR, we can see initially if the property is great, but then when we compute the IRR, it turns out to be a lemon. Or the reverse, without the IRR, we think that it's actually a marginal property, but after factoring in the IRR, it's a great investment. So I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also download a free section of my book. It's my first investment property, so I learned a lot from that first property. Hopefully you learn a lot so you avoid my mistakes. Take care and God bless.